Morning.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Good.
Better.
Sorry if you've been waiting on me.
No, it's
You're
okay.
my last group. So let's, first I want to say, job well done. You guys did a really good job in the video. Really enjoyed it. The presentation was great, easy to follow. Like, you put the time and effort into it, and it showed. So congrats on that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
You are welcome. So I only have a few questions because you did such a good job presenting. My background is in project management, so I'm going to kind of focus there. Not that everyone who didn't manage the project is off the hook for questions here, but first, tell me a little bit about your process. How did you all work together to decide how you were going to get the job done? And
Okay.
I guess who led that too?
Okay, that would be me. I was the main project manager through the process. And the way that we had delegated was it was kind of required for the class. Everybody had to fulfill certain roles and we all had to share the projects. Everybody had to have it at least once. And we did it kind of on a weekly basis. So, like, Zion had the project for a certain amount of weeks, then I had the project for a certain amount of weeks, then Kevin had the project for a certain amount of weeks. But Zion did most of the work just because he was the construction manager
Hmm.
throughout the process. But it was also really like FaceTiming each other and calling each other if we needed help.
Okay. So I guess when it came to the plan and deciding, first we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, like listing out all of those steps in Team Gantt, how did you figure that out? How did you decide what that process was going to be?
Okay, so the first thing we did was take the actual steps from the Sea Glide instructions and put
Hmm.
that in Team Gamp. So we would have like this is we finished step one, and there was 10 steps in total. And the final step was just troubleshooting the project. So after you finish it, try it out, and then fixing any problems it had. So we put in the 10 steps, went into the instructions, and if there was any additional things that might need like step 1.5, so that you needed to finish this before you got to step two, we put that in there as well. And then
Hmm.
any additional things like we were researching while we were also building the project, so that was simultaneously, so they were like
Great.
together.
Okay. Cool. And I guess Team Gantt helped you do all that stuff easily.
Most definitely Team Gantt and tasks and contingencies. Yeah.
Cool. Were there any challenges? So once every time you create a plan, it's kind of like the best case scenario.
Hmm.
And then you might get a week or a day or a month into the project and something changes. Did
Yeah.
you all encounter any change?
uh for me, and especially me and Zion, because we it was hard with communication because we each have our own lives and we're each having our own problems working from home and doing social distancing, so we would have
Hmm.
to adjust the schedule, and some things the timeline would change, but we all had to do it before the final date of the sim fair and the final date that the project had to be submitted. So I think that was the most difficult thing, readjusting the process. But
Sure.
Zion should probably speak to that because he was mainly in charge of the project.
Okay. Yeah, Zion, could you tell me a little bit about how you kind of communicated on the project and any challenges there might have been within that?
Yeah, so like Alma said, we have our own lives and stuff like that. So I was dealing with some family stuff and working mostly on school stuff, so trying to get through that. So certain deadlines I couldn't do, and so I would communicate with that to Alma through when we had our little meetings through in our breakout rooms or through Team Gantt and stuff like that. And also using OneNote, I'll put that in the notes saying that I can't make this time, but I'll do it by this time, also by like next week or some certain stuff. And it was also pretty easy because after that I just focused mostly on trying to get the project done and also doing a new step, extra step, trying to make it faster, get the process faster, so project done early, so we can try to do any troubleshoots or see if um, any parts needed to be fixed or certain stuff.
Got it. So then, Zion, did you manage the construction? Does that mean that you built everything at home, or was that a shared task that you kind of had to figure out? Because it's a physical product, right? Like it's something that you have to do in person.
Yeah, yeah, I did most of the building, so like the soldering and most of the construction, but they also helped um with putting the stuff inside doing the wings and stuff like that. And it was actually kind of a little fun as doing it as a group.
Cool. So Cornell, can you tell me a little bit about your role on the project and what you really liked about the project itself?
Cornell, I'm sorry if I could interrupt you for just a second. Brett, would you mind? I had a couple of judges that didn't show up. Would you mind doing Q&A for one more team?
Sure.
And that'd be B4 Team 2. No need to watch the video if you just wouldn't mind going and grill them a little bit.
Yeah, can you just send me the link for the Q&A? I think they all have separate.
Yeah, they all have separate things. I'll just email you the link for the Q&A.
Yep, sounds good. No problem.
Cool.
I don't mind.
I appreciate that.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so my role was to be research manager. At first, I ain't gonna lie, I was really scared to do this role because I really don't like research. But then when I got used to it and I followed the guidelines that been placed in OneNote, and I followed certain criteria, and it made it a little bit more easier because I knew what to look up, what materials we needed to get, and then also, with communicating with my team, I had to basically communicate with everybody, come up with ideas, and it was fun actually researching with basically with the Seaglide and stuff.
Cool. So, what role could you picture yourself actually taking on?
I was gonna steal Kaylin's role and become a documenter because it's so much. All you gotta do, you basically communicate with everybody also, and it's more easier. I wish I had that role, but.
Thank you, Cornell. Hey, Kaylin, can you tell me a little bit about your role and kind of what you like doing on the project too?
Yeah, so I was documentation manager. Me and Cornell pretty much fought to the death for that role. But mainly I would just write down all the notes, make sure I got everything down in the team meetings that everyone would say. Any research that Cornell presented, we would make sure we got that into the OneNote. And then communication too. I think OneNote made it really easy, especially if I missed a day or something, then I could just say, hey guys, I won't be there. And then someone else could go in the OneNote and edit and everyone can see it. So it was really easy. OneNote made it really easy to just make sure that we can get everything down. Participate and have a voice.
Cool. All right, I have one question that I want everyone to answer, so we'll just go around one by one. And this really is coming from, my experience and knowing that you do a lot of group work in school, right? I have a 6th grader. She's now experiencing group work and experiencing all of the challenges that come with that. And what I've told her is that group work is really a part of life. Group work is what you do when you get to work. So I guess what were the biggest lessons that you learned in terms of working with a team through this project?
I can go first. I think
Okay.
we've been friends since freshman year of high school, so I think this was much easier just because we knew each other before we started this project, and we've already relatively mastered communication between one another. But it definitely does emphasize on making sure that everybody knows what's going on, so that even if one person misses a day, we can still answer the questions that are needed, or we can still do what's needed on the project. So yeah.
Got it. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
So the main lesson I really learned was actually doing the construction part, because I didn't really know how to work the soldering iron or what screws to use and stuff like that. So actually, when I was looking through the instructions and reading all about it, actually intrigued me, and because of the field I'm going into over the summer, it actually helps me understand more about what I'm gonna be doing.
Interesting. What's that you're going to go into over the summer?
So I'm going to the Marines, and
Nice.
Yeah. So my job that I'm really trying to do, it deals with mostly engineering stuff, and so this project actually help master it a little bit early.
Great. Good luck. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I learned that, being attentive and taking the notes and communicating is very crucial when it comes to group work. Like, to piggyback what Alma said, we've been friends like since day one of school, so it was pretty much easy. But also, it is very crucial that you do have to make sure everybody knows what's going on, and give feedback or give like some things towards the group, and make sure that everybody's following through with what's going on.
Yeah, sounds like really good communication and just staying on top of everything to make sure everybody's kind of in the know. Thank you. Kaylin, do you want to go?
Yeah. So the question was a lesson that we learned, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think you're cutting it.
Just to stop and realize that like it's time to work and it's not time to play. So a lot of was probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned.
You completely cut out for me. I don't know if anyone
wow.
else heard you. I think it's a bandwidth thing.
No, it's definitely my connection.
Yeah.
But what I said was one of the biggest lessons that I learned was probably self-control, just because when you're working with your friends, you see your friends and you're like, oh, it's time to talk, it's time to play, and all this, it's time to work and things like that.
That's a really good point. That's a really good lesson, because that happens at work too. That happens at work for sure. You have to make time for the personal stuff, but you really have to make time to like hunker down and get the work done. So that's a good one. All right. Well, again, I'm really impressed by the work that you all did. So congratulations. You should really be proud of, the presentation, the work that you did over the course of the semester, however long this project took you. But thanks for letting me come in and ask some questions, and have a great rest of your week, great rest of your school year, and good luck to you all.
Thank you for being here. Have a great
Thank you
day.
so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
Ooh. Is that we were really talking like a mug, and then he just popped in.
Yeah.
Bro, we